Whoa, can I get a what is growing on? So I invested in a new gimbal camera, whole setup in one. A couple of you guys dropped this down in the comments, some videos back about trying this DJI. I have to say, this thing is incredibly light, easy to hold on to, easy to charge. I don't edit with it, haven't tried any of that stuff so far. But for the most part, this thing's gonna be a game changer, hopefully bring you guys some more videos. And you have been asking for these plant videos. Well, this is gonna be a plant specific video today. You'll notice here behind me, I've got a little bit of privacy windbreak. This one is bamboo. We're not talking about that one in this video. We're actually talking about this eucalyptus over here. All right, so bamboo is great. I absolutely love it. Can't say enough good stuff about it. One of my favorite crops, one of my favorite plants. This variety being Graceful, transitioning to Alphonse Karr. And as I go further back that way, we've got Seabreeze. I've probably got 20 or 30 different varieties of bamboo here. And the only problem with the bamboo is when we get into our dry season, our spring here in Florida, this stuff tends to suffer a little bit if we don't have the irrigation turned on. Now this area, we did just recently fix the irrigation in spring, and it is on some micro irrigation, which keeps it looking great. This time of year when we're into rainy season, not as important. It's more of an issue when we have that dry time of year, which in Florida, spring can be quite dry. You can kind of see at that midpoint, that's the Alphonse Karr. That's more of a 20-25 foot variety. Gets a lot wider. Has a yellow cane with a green stripe. And then this is the Graceful, which is only coming up on 2 years old, guys. This stuff grows super fast. So I say it all the time and I'll say it again. If you do not want to see your neighbors plant bamboo, if you have an eyesore, if you have a wind problem, no matter what it may be, there's nothing that's going to grow faster and do the job like the bamboo. But what's really interesting here, and which is another really cool windbreak crop that we like to use, is this one over here behind me, which is a eucalyptus variety. And I totally botch up this name every single time. Robbie, put the botanical name here. I do believe this was reclassified and it's not even a eucalyptus anymore. Not sure what it even falls underneath, but these are very common throughout Florida. I'm gonna turn this thing around, I'm gonna show you guys some new leaves, show you what I'm talking about. So these are, I guess, 4 or 5 year old eucalyptus trees that I planted just for some instant privacy. The more I think about it, these might even be 6, 7 years old. They have been here a little while. The thing with these are, they are on 0 irrigation. I have been pruning these trees once or twice a year because I did plant them underneath the power lines, knowing that I would have to prune them. You can see I have an overhead line coming in right here across the property. But when we first bought the property, or first took over the property and wanted to start doing nursery stuff out here, before I had this giant hedge in, before I had issues with the giant mountain of mulch that we had here at one time, I needed a little bit of privacy to the nursery there in the back. So that's why we put that windscreen in, the 4x4s, and these eucalyptus were some of the first trees to go in over here. They grow super fast. They were on 0 irrigation, and the new growth on these is so cool looking. Look how fuzzy these are. Really, really neat looking, fast growing. And what's most important, 0 need for water. These guys thrive on neglect. They don't have the water needs that you're getting off of the bamboo. These are very, very common in the citrus industry throughout the state of Florida. Be planted all around groves as a windbreak. If you drive through central Florida, Lake Wales, Frostproof, any of these areas that had a lot of citrus or was citrus at one point, which unfortunately that's a sad story in itself. A lot of the citrus is disappearing. You will see these trees. They kind of have that bark similar to like what the Jopotacaba does with the peeling. This is normal. Very, very pretty trees though. And I think what I'm gonna end up doing here next is just getting these to a pole saw height. So I don't need to get up in the bucket or get up on a ladder, and we're just gonna keep them at 10, 12 foot. Once I get to this range, I'm not really doing too much of that pruning. But I planted these trees 6 foot on center. Like I said, 0 irrigation. And they fill in really nice. If you're to do nothing to them, I believe they can get to be about 45 feet. I just replanted some new ones out in the front yard, and I'll show you what we're doing out there and where we're gonna keep those. But the new growth on these is just so special looking. Look at that really cool pink fuzzy leaf. super fast growing. So nothing against bamboo. As you can see, those are giant Seabreeze clumps going all the way down that fence line. We've got more bamboo. We've got bamboo all over this entire place. My area in particularly is very dewatered. So if you're on a wet site, if you have a very high water table, bamboo is not a problem. But if you're in an area like I am, that's very, very sandy, very, very dry, and also on top of that, just dewatered. A lot of our groundwater is gone. A lot of the water that's here leaves to a county just south of us. You know, it's taken a lot of those natural lakes and a lot of those natural rivers away from us, so we don't have a very high water table here. This is the last of the bamboo. I just wanted to kind of graze over that for you guys. I haven't trimmed this one now in probably 2 or 3 years. I used to maintain these in that 15-foot height. That one is getting quite huge. I will probably end up doing something with that one and maybe even taking it out, or I'm sorry, topping it out, maybe in that 20-foot range, because it is getting so tall. But let's go see some little guys. Let's go look at some ones in the pots. Hold tight. And that is a perfect example of one of these little eucalyptuses. So within about 6 months, this tree will probably be about 12 foot tall. They grow super quick. All right, so that is a wrap. These are those little 1 gallons. We have them available at the nursery for local pickup. So if you come to the nursery Monday or Tuesdays through Fridays, 9 to 5, or Saturday, 8 to 3, we'll probably have these available for a couple more weeks. I only have about 100 of them. So if you're doing a long stretch, you do need a bunch of them. Typically, we plant them about 6 foot apart. And also, I forgot to mention, I think these guys are cold hard to about zone 9A, and they grow through zone 11. Although I have seen them take mid-20s, no problem. No defoliating or anything like that. But awesome windbreak tree, grows super fast. I love the new fuzzy growth on these things. What else can I say? Grow food? Yeah, pound dirt.